Okay, hey class.
Hello.
Okay, we're going to continue from our story from the other day, the day you began. Do you all remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, and I want to kind of brainstorm with you for our next activity. And I want to see if you can recall the events of the story and the order of events so we can have a clear beginning, middle, and end, and so we can transfer that onto writing. Okay, because your task, your big writing project that's coming up is you're going to write a, a wonderful final narrative, which is like a little essay in response to the story. Okay, because what I'm checking for is how well you understood the storyline. Okay, storyline is what how the story develops, how it unfolds. Okay, so, and how we know that from details and other factors from the story. Okay, so I'm going to see if you remember well. I'm going to ask you some questions, and you're going to try to type in your answers onto the Jamboard I'm going to open up. Okay, that you should, so you should have the link. Let me open up the Jamboard. Okay, so this is the brainstorm Jamboard. And right here in the middle, I have a passage. So a little section, a piece from the story. And I'm going to read it out loud. Okay. And so maybe that can like bring back memories and thoughts you had about this story. Okay. So let me begin. Okay. It says, there are many reasons to feel different. Maybe it is how you look or talk, or where you are from. Maybe it is what you eat, or something just as random. It's not easy to take those first steps into a place where nobody really knows you yet, but somehow you do it. Okay, so do you have any thoughts about this passage? Does anyone want to say? What does it remind you of? No, that's okay. Okay, so our brainstorming for our writing, what how it helps our writing is that this is called a pre-writing stage. So this is before. Pre means before. Okay. So, if do you remember prefixes?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're still learning about prefixes too. Okay. So pre means before, like preview. When someone previews a movie, that means somebody watches a movie before it's out for the rest of the world, for like the for other audiences. So to check it out. Okay, so for pre-writing, what pre-writing is that we are questioning, we are wondering, and critically thinking about the important events that happened in the story. Okay, the storyline, because we are gonna write a final essay, write a final narrative. So we gotta get our ideas out through brainstorming. Okay, so I'm going to be checking for that. So let me give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up some questions. I'm going to ask you, and on your notes here on the side on the Jamboard, I want you to attach sticky notes or pictures, images, anything that pops in your head from me answering these questions. Okay, I want you to answer those questions onto the Jamboard. Okay, give me 1 moment. Okay, class, let's begin. All right, so my first question for us to recall the storyline, the story events, and order of events, or just details about the story. I'm gonna ask you first. How would you describe how the main character Angelina felt when she heard about the travels her classmates took over the summer? Okay, so go ahead and take some time to fill out the Jamboard to that question, okay? Okay, next question. Can you explain what is happening when Natcha wrinkles her nose in the lunchroom? Okay, and next question is, why did Angelina choose to speak up and share the stories about her summer to her classmates? Okay, thank you to everybody who participated. Okay. And I really like how we made these personal connections to questions I asked. Very good. Okay, so this way I know that there is some comprehension or some recalling of the events from the story, okay? So now we're gonna move on to our next stage of the writing process, and it's very exciting. It's called drafting. So drafting is when we start actually writing and just expanding our thoughts onto paper, okay? And it should not be a stressful thing. I will be here helping you. You're gonna be doing it by yourself, but it's just super free writing, and it's just for you to express your thoughts and comprehension about the story, okay? And do not worry about the neatness and how our narrative is supposed to be structured or built, okay? Because that will be towards the end when we get to the stages towards the end, okay? Like the editing stage and finally publishing, okay? So it's okay to write it out. Give me one moment. I need to share something with you. Okay, so for drafting, I want you to take out your journal paper, okay, with the big lines. And it's okay to skip lines, okay, because what I'm going to be do is revising. That's the next stage after drafting, okay, revising. What revising means is that I'm going to actually check for your writing skills, okay, make sure things are in order. Okay, so go ahead and skip lines if you'd like, because we're making room for revision. Okay, I gotta make your little notes. Okay, so it could be less cluttered on the paper. Okay, so we're just going to be sequencing the events. Okay, and I just really want to see on your drafting portion or your drafting stage that you clearly know that where the story begins and where the story is in the middle, what happens in the middle, and then what happens at the end. Okay. Okay, and because we're focusing so much on the sequence of events, the order of the storyline, it is super important that when you're writing your drafting version, that you make sure your sentences and paragraphs are in order. Okay, that's super important. Okay, so it's okay to think out loud when we're thinking about the storyline. Okay, so that's what great writers do. Okay, those are great writing skills and great comprehension and incredible thinking skills. Okay, so don't worry about finishing it today, okay, because you're also going to have another class time to finish, okay, and that's when I'm going to start reviewing your drafting and then revising it, okay. So it's okay to make this drafting process happen in small pieces, okay. Any questions?
No.
No? Did you understand what I am expecting?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you give me a little, Justin, can you tell me a little bit of what drafting means? What drafting
Uh,
will look like?
Drafting is putting our first thoughts on the page, but leaving room so we can fix them later.
Very good. I love that. Perfect. Perfect description. Okay. All right, thank you. So go ahead and start your drafting, okay, on your journal paper.